Okay, this is it. I'm going to play my violin at a TEDx talk. I have to do my best. I have to play with a big and beautiful sound. I have to impress all my friends and all my teachers. I have to remember everything I have learned. I cannot disappoint my family. They have done so much for me. I really have to nail this performance. I mean, this is going to be on the internet. I'm going to have so many views. If I do it right, I'm sure so many doors are going to open for me. It's going to be great. I mean, it has to be. I have been playing the violin for more than 20 years, so I should be good at it by now. But what if I make a mistake? What if I play badly? Oh my God, this is going to be on the internet. I knew I should have practiced even harder. Now I'm sweating and shaking, and my back is hurting again. No, this is too much pressure for me. I think I'm going to leave. Guys, can we stop recording this? What if instead of following all those mental conversations about the things I did or the things I should have done differently, I give my mind permission to rest? What if instead of projecting all the possible catastrophic scenarios, I give my mind a break? What if I don't try to play well? What if I don't try to impress anybody? What if I don't try to get anything out of this TEDx talk? What if instead, before playing, I listen to the sounds coming from this room for a moment? What if I feel my feet on the floor? What if I feel my breath? What if I see all of you in front of me? You, fellow human beings just like me. What if I smile at you? Some of you may smile back at me. Yeah, thank you. What if I just play the violin? Being able to listen to music is an amazing gift. Being able to play music is an even greater gift. I believe everybody knows this. Now, something that you may or may not know is that for many, many musicians, learning to play an instrument or making music can be both physically and mentally painful. This is my story. One day when I was 6 years old, my mother came home with a new toy, a very small violin. And like every child with a new toy, I was very happy, excited, inspired. I was being creative and imaginative. I was really having fun. Then I went to the music school, conservatories, universities, and played in many professional orchestras. 20 years later, I found myself being depressed, anxious, not knowing what to do with my life, afraid of performing in front of people, and with severe pain in my back, neck, shoulders, and fingers. One day, my fingers even started to bleed because of the excessive pressure I was putting on the strings. I didn't know what to do, and nobody was openly talking about this. I couldn't find any help within the traditional music education. So I decided to look for some answers on my own. I decided to learn about my body. I did yoga and exercise. I meditated for 2 hours every day. I read books about alternative education and holistic education. I listened to spiritual teachers and motivational speakers. I attended workshops in order to develop my intuition and body intelligence. And I spent 6 months living at a yoga farm. But more important than that, I learned from myself. I learned that it's possible to find peace within myself. I learned that in order to be happy, I just need to practice happiness. I spent a whole year trying to figure it out by myself how to play the violin. Not listening to my teachers or even to my mind, but for the first time to my body. And this is still a work in progress, but I'm very happy to say that I finally learned how to play the violin without pain. But I was one of the lucky ones who found some answers. There are musicians who have a different story. They go through the same pain I went, but they are not lucky enough to find a sustainable solution, so they ended up with an unsustainable solution. They take pills to control fears, go regularly to some kind of physical or psychological therapy, or in some cases, they even have to go under surgery in order to fix a very serious injury. For these musicians, physical and mental pain are almost expected as part of a life in music. If you are in physical pain, it's because you are working very hard. If you are in mental pain, it's because you are very deep or a real artist. So is it written in stone that we have to go through all these issues in order to be a musician? You would expect to hear all these stories of physical and mental pain from soldiers after fighting in a war. But music? Really? Does it really make sense to be in pain when making music? Of course, I believe the answer is no. So why there are so many musicians struggling with all these issues? Let me show you why. And from here, try to see if you can apply this into your life, even if you are not a musician. So right now you are all looking at me. So you are practicing seeing. You are also listening to me, hopefully. So you are practicing listening. You are also thinking about the things I'm saying. So you are practicing thinking. Therefore, during this talk, you'll be practicing seeing, listening, and thinking for a few minutes. So now, please don't move. Nobody moves. What about the way you are sitting? If you are not aware of your posture, and that posture is not good for your body, you'll be unconsciously practicing an unhealthy posture. You'll be unconsciously reinforcing an unhealthy habit. Then, after the talk, your body may hurt, you may feel bad, maybe even stressed, and you wouldn't even know why. So now that you are aware of your posture, how do you want to sit? Cool. So now, imagine that you are unconsciously practicing an unhealthy posture or unconsciously reinforcing an unhealthy habit, not for a few minutes, but for years. In the same way, imagine that you are unconsciously practicing being afraid of performing in front of people, afraid of what may happen in the future, afraid of disappointing the people who love you, afraid of not being worth it. Imagine that you are unconsciously practicing to always compare and compete with your colleagues. Imagine that you are unconsciously practicing finding happiness outside of you. Imagine that you do that not for a few minutes, but for years. Unfortunately, this is what many of us do, regardless of our profession, including musicians. So, what can we do about it? I believe the answer is to become aware of what we are actually practicing. Think about it. How can we change something if we cannot see it? Take the example of your posture. The moment you begin to be aware of your body, you immediately knew how to sit properly. Nobody had to tell you how to do it. Whatever you do in life, open your awareness to see those unhealthy habits that are stopping you from thriving, and those healthy habits that promote your well-being. By practicing awareness, we start noticing more things about our life. So it is not so much about noticing what we are doing wrong. It is also about noticing the good habits that we already have so that we can appreciate them. And this is why I developed a sustainable well-being program for musicians. In this program, I'm teaching how to expand our awareness in order to see those unhealthy habits and replace them with positive ones. We learn how to take care of our body, mind, and emotions. I have been teaching this program at prestigious and recognized music institutions like El Sistema, which is the national system of youth and children's orchestras and choirs in Venezuela, as well as universities and youth orchestras in the US. I would like to see musicians experiencing a life without physical and mental pain. I would like to see musicians with the necessary tools to take care of themselves. I would like to see musicians that have very high goals, but at the same time are satisfied with what they have already accomplished. I would like to see more music institutions that care and actively promote musicians' well-being. And I would like all of you to become aware of what you are actually practicing. Be curious to find those unhealthy habits so that you can change them. Be curious to find those healthy habits so that you can appreciate them. I cannot promise you happiness, but you will definitely learn more about yourself.